Welcome to the FrankenCast. Oh, okay. It's not that type of a podcast. It's not scary at all. The FrankenCast is all about the different parts that go into making up Manhattan College. Thank you for tuning in. It's our first episode. My name is Hayden Green, and I am the director of the Multicultural Center. And this is our podcast. Our first segment is called Multicultural Stories. We look at people's journeys and how their identities have shaped the persons that they have become and influenced their decision to come to Manhattan College. Once here, we look at what has happened in the time that they've been here that has shaped their identities or how they've used their identities to shape the world around them. Enjoy. Today we're sitting with Hannah. And Hannah works in the Multicultural Center, which is always interesting. Hey, Hannah.
Hey, guys. I'm Hannah. I'm a junior here at Manhattan College, and I work here in the Multicultural Center.
So you're a junior, so you've been here about 2 years and...
2 years and some change.
And some change. Okay. So Hannah, where did you grow up?
I'm from a small town in Northampton, Massachusetts, Northampton. It's in Western Mass, so it's opposite of Boston.
Opposite of Boston. So the opposite end of the state of Boston?
Yeah, opposite end.
So what was it like growing up in that part of the country?
Well, my town is a very small, liberal, town. And I say that because I think it's like the most like lesbians there's really a ton of, we're very accepting, and there's like a statistic, I can't remember what it is, but we have like the most lesbians per, not capita, but like
per square acre.
Yeah. Okay. And like we have a rainbow sidewalk or crosswalk. So we're very open to anything.
And so how did you feel like growing up in that town affected your view of multiculturalism? Like, how did your identities play out as you were growing up?
Well, I am black and white, and the town that I grew up in is predominantly white. There are, we're not very diverse, I would say. While we say we're accepting to everybody, we don't really have that many different kinds of people living in our town. And that was hard for me just because I also grew up with a white family, and looking around and only seeing people that didn't look like me, even though, yes, I am half white, I'm as much white as I am black, but black is what shows on my skin. And growing up, that was really hard for me because I always wanted to look like the people around me. And if you don't have role models that look like you, it's very difficult, because I used to always want to have white skin and blonde hair, like the people that I saw, and I just wasn't like that. And it wasn't until I came to Manhattan College where I actually felt like, wow, I can look around, and I can see people that look like me.
So which is interesting, because you're saying that this is a town that was accepting one particular identity, which is the LGBTQ community.
Yes.
But at the same time, you felt that it was kind of almost monolithic when it came to race.
Yes.
Did you feel that you weren't accepted, or you just looked around and didn't see very many people like you?
It wasn't that I was not accepted. I feel like I was most definitely accepted. I just looked around and didn't see people that looked like me. But everybody that I was surrounded by always told me, oh, your skin is so beautiful, I wish I had darker skin. Oh, your hair is so beautiful, why don't you wear it down more? Why do you always want to have it straight? And that was just because that's what I saw and that's what I wanted to be.
Did any of those things growing up make factor into the decision to come to Manhattan College?
Most definitely. Well, I feel like Manhattan College is still predominantly white. There is more diversity here than my hometown and the schools that I grew up going to. And that was definitely one of the number one things I was looking for in a small liberal arts school, because I feel like that is very hard to find.
Now, were there any other aspects of your identities that proved challenging as you were growing up, or stuff that you had to navigate as you were growing up?
Well, I would definitely say race was the number one thing, but also I would say religion as well, because my mom was Jewish, and so in the Jewish religion, you get your religion from your mother. So until I was 8 years old, I only celebrated the Jewish holidays, and people always looked at me saying, "You're black. How can you be Jewish?"
And we're taping this on Rosh Hashanah, which is ironic, right?
Yeah. And then so I feel like I always have to explain myself. And so that was always difficult for me. Like, why can't you just believe me? Why can't I just be who I am without you having to ask questions? Especially also because in my town, most people were not Jewish.
Yeah, it's interesting. In this country, we kind of equate religion to race a lot of times.
Yeah.
It's like, how can you be this religion if you are this race? Or,
Yeah.
or how can you be this religion if you're from this part of the country? And and it's all. I've traveled a couple of different places, and it's not like that in a lot of other places. You know, people accept whatever religion you decide to be, regardless of what you actually look like.
Yeah, and I feel like that's how it should be, but apparently not here.
Okay. So how do you feel that your identities have been represented or accommodated, or found a place for them here once you've gotten to Manhattan College?
Well, honestly, I still feel like I do struggle with my identity, just because, like I said, I am half black, but I don't know anything really about the black side of my family. And so, like, I still feel like I need to figure that out. So I feel like I can, I mean, I do identify as black, but I feel like I haven't really found enough information for myself to be able to really put it to use here. Yeah, does that really answer the question?
It does, yeah. What's interesting is we had a conversation a couple of days ago, because Manhattan College has a very large Latino community, and we are just in the middle of celebrating Latino Heritage Month. You get mistaken for a Latina.
Yes, everybody. When I came to Manhattan College and I came to live in the Bronx, everybody thinks I'm Dominican. Everybody tries to speak Spanish to me, but I'm not.
Well, so is that frustrating for you? Do you, or is it amusing? Like, how do you deal with that?
It's amusing to me. It's not frustrating, not at all. But it's different. I never got that before. In my hometown, everybody just thought I was black. But now, I think it's probably since there are so many Dominicans that live here. And even like me just walking around, I do see a lot of people that look like me. And I often don't know, are they Dominican? Are they black? Yeah.
What has been the most gratifying thing about multiculturalism that you found here at Manhattan College?
That there really is a place for everyone. No matter what your race is, what your religion is, what your sexual orientation is, there is something for everyone. And if you don't believe so, you need to look a little bit harder. Come to the Multicultural Center, come speak to us, and we'll find a.
That wasn't a paid announcement, but yeah, we'll take the.
It wasn't. I promise.
All right. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see you around, especially since you work here.
Yep, most definitely.
All right.
Come say hi.
All right. Bye. Now it's time for some humor. Here's our joke of the week. So I'm sitting here with Victoria. Hi, Victoria.
Hello.
Victoria has a joke for us. Go ahead.
So a man walks into a bar. He sees meat hanging from the ceiling, and he asks the bartender, "Why is there meat hanging from the ceiling?" The bartender says to him, "I'll tell you what, if you can jump up and hit all of the meat on the ceiling, I'll get you free drinks for everyone. But if you don't hit the meat on the ceiling, you have to pay for everyone's drink." The man looks to the bartender and says, "I'm sorry, the stakes are too high."
If you think you're just as funny, come on down to the Multicultural Center and tell your joke too. Have a great one. Thank you, Victoria.
No problem.
It's time for a break. Looking for something to do this week? Look out for the Multicultural Center programs that happen all week long. This Wednesday, starting at 5 o'clock, we will be hosting the Columbus Effect, the Columbus Legacy actually. Happens at 5 o'clock in room 5A on the 5th floor of the Student Commons. We'll be discussing the impact of colonialism on the Americas, Latin America, Central America, and even the Caribbean. Our guest speaker will be Antonio Cordoba, an assistant professor in the Language Arts Department. We also have a bunch of desserts. We got cannolis, flan, and cupcakes. Don't miss it. 5 o'clock. We also, this week, will be continuing with our weekly series of Dominoes on Fridays. 1 o'clock in the Multicultural Center, we play dominoes. Come by, play a game, and grab a slice of pizza. We'll be waiting for you. Now back to our podcast. The next segment is called My Halo. The Halo Project is an initiative where we ask students to tell us a little bit about their identities, or maybe send wishes to places that need our help, like Houston, or tell us a little bit about promises that they've made to us or to other people. Today's campaign is the We Are All Multicultural campaign. Enjoy. It's Hayden again, and we're going to talk a little bit with Gabby about her Halo. The Halo Project, it has been used for a number of different things, and Gabby participated in the We Are All Multicultural campaign. So here's Gabby. Tell us a little bit about your Halo.
Okay, so I think I'll just start from the top and kind of work my way down in terms of the order I talk about the things on my Halo. So one of the first things I put down was Hispanic, and along with that I put down the two flags that kind of make up like my ethnicity. So I have the Nicaragua flag and the Puerto Rican one. So my mom's from Nicaragua and my dad's from Puerto Rico, and I put down those two flags because they kind of have influenced the way I grow up and the way I see things and just who I am. Mostly the Nicaraguan one, only because I grew up mostly with my mom's side of the family, but as I got older, a lot more Puerto Rican influences came into my life, so I felt that it was important to put it on there as well.
Okay.
I also wrote dancer near the top because ever since I was really little, I've been dancing, and along with that, I put like 3 of the styles of dances that I've done that are kind of my favorite. So those would be flamenco, salsa, and ballet. So yeah, those are my favorite, and I've been dancing since I was 3. And it's just...
You recently just got a job with Ballet Hispanico, right?
I did, and that's really cool to go from being a student there and, you know, learning how to dance from, like, basically starting from zero to now being a teacher's assistant and teaching little kids how to dance, you know, the same styles that I once was taking, and it's crazy because now they're in my place, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So those are the 3 that I put down. I also put down some, like, kind of funnier things, like I put on iced tea down because I really love iced tea. I probably drink it more than I drink regular water or anything else, to be honest. I don't drink soda, so iced tea is like my go-to drink. I also put down sister, and that means a couple things to me because I'm my mom's only child, but on my dad's side of the family, I have 4 other siblings. And I didn't know them till quite recently, but now that they're in my life, it's really cool to have to be a sister and to have siblings. But also growing up, I grew up with my cousins, and especially my cousin Carolina, who's only about a year and a couple months younger than me. So we grew up kind of like sisters, and honestly, to this day, I think she's more of a sister than a cousin, because just like the connection and energy we have and stuff like that, it's, I think, a lot closer than it would be if we were just cousins who had grown apart, who had grown up separately.
Right. Absolutely. Now, are you the oldest one for your step sibling, your half sister?
No, I'm actually the youngest. So
okay.
I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and I am the youngest out of all of them.
So you got people who are now gonna be big brothers to you.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because especially my brother, he's in the Navy and he feels like he needs to take on this like big brother role. So he likes to check in on me and see how I'm doing, like bothers me all the time. He's like, are you doing your schoolwork? Are you doing this? Are you, like, how's everything with life? And just like, kind of just being a big brother and trying to kind of, I guess, make up for time that we didn't have when we were younger, but also just like being very supportive and very loving. And he has kids of his own, and it's cool and weird for me because, they call me Titi Gabby, and it's like kind of funny to me because I don't know, I guess I am their aunt, but like it's weird for me to think of that.
Because you're all of a sudden aunt.
Yeah, I'm all of a sudden an aunt,
right.
You know, like all of a sudden, like I knew I had these siblings, but they weren't like part of my life growing up, and then all of a sudden they are, and now I'm an aunt, and I have nieces and nephews, and yeah.
So I have a question for you. And there's some other stuff on here, and that's great. But what was the first thing that you put on your halo? Do you remember?
The first thing that I put on my halo? I think it actually might have been sister, or it might have been shoes.
Why are shoes on there?
Okay, so shoes are on there because ever since I was really little, I've had like a fascination for high heels and just like shoes in general, but like my mom can vividly remember, and I can kind of remember, like from as soon as I was able to walk, me just trying on everybody's shoes and like falling over because I was wearing heels that were just way too big for me. And then I always wear, and then, I don't know, I fell in love with heels and shoes, and I have an excessive amount of them. I tend to wear the same ones to school every day, but I own a lot of shoes.
A lot of shoes.
Yeah, and then my friends always make fun of me because they say I wear heels in unpractical situations. So it's become kind of like a joke where it's like, it's not a Gabby Montez moment unless she's wearing heels.
Dig it. So, on your halo, what is the thing that people would be most surprised that you wrote down on your halo, or that you drew on your halo?
That, maybe baking? It's kind of random, but I really like baking, and...
Are you not known for being a baker?
No, not really.
Okay.
Because people think... Because I always like joke around and I'm like, I can't cook. Like, the most I can do is make you cereal. But I actually can bake and I make pretty decent cupcakes and brownies, and my mom makes cakes, so she taught me how to make her cake, and like I took like decorating lessons and stuff. So
you even went so far as taking decorating lessons. So you're serious about baking?
Yeah, I am, but I like joke around all the time. I'm like, no, I can't cook. So
yeah, people find it easy to differentiate those two. It's like if you're either a cook or you're a baker, and and you can be good at one or the other, and one doesn't mean that you're good at the other.
No, yeah, and it's funny also because people are like, oh, these are so good. Like if I make brownies, like, oh, did you make these out of a box? I'm like, I don't think I've ever made anything out of a box.
Wow. Okay.
If I have, it's because, like, I'm on a time crunch and I need to get them done.
Right.
But, yeah, I don't make things out of a box. So I just have a whole bunch of random recipes just, like, stored in my head.
Well, that is excellent.
Yeah.
Well, Gabby, I want to thank you for your time. And your halo is on our Facebook page. And pretty soon it might be up on the wall outside of the Multicultural Center. So thank you, and
thank you.
And we'll see you around the MC. Over 50% of the campus at Manhattan College lives in the residence halls. There are always great stories that come out of these places that people live and sleep and engage. We're looking at some of those stories for the multicultural aspect of it, but sometimes it's just funny. I'm sitting here with Bennett, and he lives in Horan Hall. Bennett, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I ran into you the other day, and you seem to be having a bit of an issue. You want to tell me a little bit about the story?
Yeah, so I saw a promotion on Facebook that said if I signed up a new customer with Papa John's, I could get $5 off a medium pizza. So I signed up and everything went fine. It said I paid and everything, and then my pizza will be here in 30 minutes to 40 minutes. I waited 30 minutes, and then 40 minutes went by, an hour went by, and eventually it was an hour and a half. I went down to the guard office to make sure it didn't come by and that somebody else picked it up or that they had it there or whatever.
Did the guard eat your pizza?
I thought the guard ate my pizza.
Okay.
He must have had a good dinner, but he said nobody came by to deliver the pizza, so I checked online to see if it was actually delivered, and it said it was delivered and confirmed, which was weird because I never got my pizza. So I ended up calling them, and they said that the delivery guy could not find the address, so he instead brought it back to the store, and it's been at the store for the past 30 minutes or so. And so I was like, oh, I can give you a different address, and so I gave them a real address. But then I'm thinking to myself, why didn't the guy just give me a phone call, say, hey, I don't know where to deliver it?
Right.
They just brought it back to the store without telling me. They go, oh yeah, we'll send you another pizza in 20 minutes. It's cool.
So this is 2 hours by now.
Yeah, this is 2 hours, and then I'm still waiting for the second pizza, and neither pizza showed up. And I emailed them, and they said, we'll give you your money back within 48 hours, and it's been 3-4 days now, and I don't have my money back either.
So you have no pizza, no money.
Yep.
And so are you ever going back to Papa John's?
Not to this Papa John's.
Well, Papa John's pizza is pretty good, so I can see how you would try to find another one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sorry that you went through that, Bennett.
It's a college problem, I guess.
Problems with living in the residence hall.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much, Bennett.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Tune in next week as we listen to more stories about multiculturalism and people's journeys, listen to more jokes, figure out what people have put onto their halos, and get more information all about the different parts of Manhattan College. We would like to thank Gabby Montes, Hannah Rome, Victoria Pacheco, and Bennett Hall for contributing this week. If you have a story that we should hear, drop us an email to mcc@manhattan.edu. Special thanks to Steven Cerulli for the opening music and to Amanda Nunez for coming up with the name for the podcast. All other music provided by bensounds.com. See you next week for a new episode of the FrankenCast.